The Treasurer's office isn't involved in a lot of policy issues, except still being a statewide leader, we try to speak out when we can. And one of those key times was last week when they told the governor they weren't going to transfer money into the state general fund to cover our cash flow problems, which, by the way, the budget director warned us about in December and laid out a very clear plan of how to handle it. And they said, we're not going to do that until you sign the budget bill. Well, the governor rightly pointed out, well, if you have your clerk bring me the budget bill, I'll be glad to start looking at it and put it on my desk. Maybe you ought to put something on the governor's desk before you try to twist the arm over that issue. But the point was the budget bill was completely separate from our cash flow. Our state general fund had about $4.9 million in it to make a $23 million payroll. It doesn't work. And there was a time on that Wednesday evening I actually thought we were going to miss making our payroll. They said this was just political. There was no chance we were going to miss it. We had our correspondent bank on hold, and we told them to wait and be prepared to act quickly. And as soon as the certificate of indebtedness was finally approved on Thursday afternoon by the State Finance Council, the Director of Investments for the Pool Money Investment Board stood up, opened up a folder, handed me a sheet of paper, I signed it, and she immediately went across the street to get the money transferred and get the bank started on meeting payroll. That's how close it was. So if you hear them say that issue is just being politicized, there's no chance we're going to miss payroll, that's not true. We were that close. And oh, by the way, if you owe the state of Kansas money and you just don't have the money and you send in your return, attach a note and say, when I get the money, I'll send it in, I'll send you a check. See how far that goes in the Department of Revenue.
John Wagner will come and see you.
Yeah, and you can understand why taxpayers were mad when all of a sudden we said, we'll send you your refund, which is your money, when we get the money. So rightfully so, taxpayers were mad. It's just a matter of good management. And the final thing is, the governor is right. There are certain strategic investments we make that we know affect not just well-being. One of them is public schools. It affects the well-being of our children as well as the quality of our workforce in the future. And as she points out, we're going through tough times, but our cuts should be targeted. They should be smart. Public schools and our care for the disabled should be the last and the least to be cut. And that's where we need to go. They have been almost on our leaders on the other side have been determined to cut public schools with no regard to the outcome and the long-term effects. And that's not where we want to be as Kansans. There's a reason that the state constitution written in 1859 had the very first thing in it, a system of funding to provide public schools all across the state. It's a traditional Kansas value, and that's where we want to stay, and that's part of our job. To make sure the student on South Seneca in Wichita that lives in that mobile home park has the same opportunity to get a good quality education as the student in Leawood, or the student in Elkhart, or the student in Goodland. That's where we want to be. Thanks.